Hello and welcome to Artifacts with Edie. Episode. Well, this is a live show and tell, as you well know, and sometimes we have technical glitches. I'm live from the Summit County Historical Society, and my name is Edie Steiner, and I'm a music therapist with Akron Public Schools at Bridges Learning Center, and I'm also a volunteer and shepherdess here at the Summit County Historical Society. If you spend any amount of time with me outdoors, you are bound to have me ask you the question, do you know what kind of tree that is? Today we are going to be talking all about trees, and I've always been really fascinated with being able to look at a tree and be able to identify it by its leaves or by its shape or by the region that it grows in. So today we're going to kind of take on the role of somebody who studies trees, and that word is called dendrology, and it's from the Greek word dendro, meaning tree, and ology, meaning the study of. So dendrology is the study of trees. There are three types of trees: coniferous or cone bearers that have needles, palms, which typically don't grow in Ohio, and broadleaf trees. Broadleaf trees lose their leaves in the autumn or the fall, and they're often called deciduous trees. Deciduous comes from the Latin word meaning falling off. Can you tell a tree by its bark? Here are a few that you can learn, and then come to the grounds of the Perkins Stone Mansion and see for yourself. I think that the beech tree is the easiest one to identify because the bark, it kind of looks like elephant skin or elephant knees, if you will. This is an American beech tree that we have here on the Perkins family homestead, and it was planted by Colonel Simon Perkins in 1830 when his stone house was built. It's one of the most distinctive native trees of the eastern hardwood forest, and it's easily recognized by that blue-gray trunk that you can see. The nuts are an important source of food for several types of birds and squirrels. And during the pioneer days, the nuts were often collected and they were fed to swine or pigs. Notice how this bark, though, is a little bit scaly and it has some crevices. This is a horse chestnut tree, and it's often confused with the Ohio buckeye. The leaves and the fruit of the horse chestnut tree are, though, a little bit bigger than the buckeye. Buckeyes. I love that peanut butter and chocolate candy. Oh, sorry. The fruit, which you may call a nut, of the horse chestnut is poisonous to people, so please do not ever try to eat one. It's definitely not candy, but send more buckeyes to the Perkins Stone Mansion, 550 Copley Road. Do you see the red in this bark? It is from the bald cypress tree in the middle of the Circle Drive south of the Perkins Stone Mansion. And guess what? I'm standing in front of it right now. Family legend claims that Colonel George Todd Perkins, the oldest son of Colonel Simon and Grace Perkins, planted this tree after he returned from duty in the Civil War. So George was involved in Sherman's March to the Sea in 1864. And this used to be the largest tree of its type in the state of Ohio before it was struck by lightning. And 30 feet of the top of this tree came off, and the lightning had to exit the tree roots, and when it did, there were fissures on the ground. So this tree is naturally, though, found in swampy areas of the south, and bald cypress trees like to grow in pure strands. So when grown in or next to standing water, the roots will form these conical shaped growths above the water. And it's thought that these growths, they call them knees, are used a way for the roots to kind of gather some oxygen in. So leaves, though, are one of the most visible features of a tree and perform a very important service for the tree. They convert carbon dioxide and water and sunlight into a food source for the tree. And this process, you all know it, it's photosynthesis. You're right. The food is a sugar that is stored in the tree's roots, and it's an important waste product of this process that produces or it gives off oxygen. Tree leaves are different in shape and size for a reason. Leaves are sized so each gets the maximum possible amount of sunlight. So this allows each tree a better chance for survival and increased production of sugars. So we can also recognize a tree though by its leaves. So let's learn a little bit more about a couple of the trees on the Perkins family property. There are a number of red maple trees on the property, and you can tell them by their distinct broad leaf that looks kind of like a waving hand. It's one of the first native forest trees to flower in the springtime. Another type of maple is the Japanese maple. It's an ornamental tree that someone chooses to plant in their yard or in their landscape. So look how this leaf is similar to the red maple. This photo also shows its flowers or its seeds. They are designed this way so that the seeds fly away from the tree and allow it to grow further out. And this gives it a better chance of growing up really, really strong. But as the days grow shorter in the autumn and the temperatures start to drop, so do the leaves. And they turn amazing, beautiful, bright shades of colors. Trees shut down production of their sugars and rely then on the stockpile that's in their roots to get them through till the next spring. And leaves shed in part to prevent damage to the branches from the heavy winter snows that are soon to follow. Besides being beautiful and majestic, forests offer quiet woodlands for recreation, for wildlife, for songbirds, to owls and squirrels, and even snakes to live. And they are an important natural resource that contribute greatly to our way of life. Large forests retain carbon dioxide, which can prevent global warming. And for an overview, remember that the tree has three parts to it. It has the crown, the trunk, and it has the roots. So the crown is way at the top of the tree and it contains all of the leaves. The trunk is covered in bark. You're right, this protects the tree and it's a lot like our skin is. And the roots are at the very bottom and this collects the water for the tree. So let's review before we reveal our artifact of the day. Our first question is going to require you to get out a timepiece. So grab your cell phone or your watch and set 20 seconds on it because we'd like you to name as many animals as you can that make a tree their home. Time your family and tell us in the comments who got the highest score. I am pining to know your answer. Question 2. What type of tree was said to be planted by Colonel George Todd Perkins, the eldest son of Colonel Simon and Grace Perkins when he returned from the Civil War? Was it A, a pine tree, B, a bald cypress tree, C, a maple tree, or D, an oak tree? If you said B, bald cypress, you are a tremendous listener. Last question. What are 2 ways that you can tell which tree is which? I guess I should have spruced up this question a little bit, but if you said shape, size, leaf type, bark, you are definitely climbing to the top of the class and to the top of all of our trees here at the Perkins Stone Mansion. Our artifact of the day is actually made from trees and it has lots of use in day-to-day life. Today's artifact is a walking stick. It's a natural walking stick, which means that it's made from the branch of a tree that has a unique growth. Walking sticks are also used as canes and the center is made of wood. The walking sticks or canes have different tops that are natural. They might be made of metal or bone, or sometimes they're even made of sheep horns or other minerals. And they also have unique bottoms. People often use what is available to them to keep on the bottom of their walking stick. Some people use a walking stick to hike through the woods, and in pioneer times they would walk through, they would walk with these sticks also. So walk through the halls of factories, they might use a walking stick during the Industrial Revolution, and even now people use a walking stick and they earn it when they're going through the Summit County Metro Parks on that fall hiking spree. There are other designated, others are designed to be shown as pieces, like today's very special artifact. The artifact is engraved for Michael Stein from Cooper's Cooperation, Akron, Ohio, December 25th, 1883. We actually had a very special memory stick made recently when I had a friend in town. My friend Lee Brewster, who's on the left, is a carver, and he made this stick to commemorate my friend Cappy's visit to Mutton Hill from Colorado. Lee carved this walking stick from an ash tree, and it was carved by hand. He even engraved the words Mutton Hill, Ohio, 2020 onto the stick. So what kind of trees do you have in your yard? Tell us in the comments. And until then, I will see you next Friday at 11:30 a.m. right here on Facebook Live for our next episode of Artifacts with Edie, where I show and tell the artifacts from the Summit County Historical Society, where history is always within reach. Thank you.